like and subscribe if you are interested in the truth. The situation in Palestine on the Gaza Strip is similar to many instances of whitewashing of history, which was done, which a certain group of Caucasians, Romans and Greek in particular, have been doing for centuries, whitewashing history. Putin actually ended the war when he showed pictures of the true Hebrew Israelites from the libraries of Russia. The reality of the situation is that the Ashkenazis and Sephardic Jews are claiming to be Hebrew Israelites, but they are not. They are from the Ukraine, and they created Judaism as a religion so that they could convert. Once they converted to Judaism, then it was easy for them to whitewash history and call themselves Jews. They do not have the Jewish DNA. Only 2% of them have the Jewish DNA. 50% of the Jewish DNA is in the African people. Now, the war in on Gaza, or now we can call it Palestine, Israel, whatever we want to call it, is predicated on the Jewish people saying that Palestine is their homeland, and it was taken from them thousands and thousands of years ago by the Palestinians. And they're saying we're coming back to reclaim our homeland. But it was never the Ashkenazi and Sephardic people's homeland. It was never theirs because they are not Hebrew Israelites that they claim to be. Once we prove that they are not Hebrew Israelites, then they have no claim to that land. Period. I mean, there is nothing to be investigated. There is nothing to be understood. All these people, like NBC and these other channels, that are trying to make it seem like there is an equal amount of people on the side of the Palestinians and an equal amount of people on the side of the Israelis. I'm not even going to call them Jews because they're not Jews. They're converts. Because Jews are a people. Judaism was never a religion. Jews are spiritual philosophers. That's what the Jews are. They are spiritual philosophers. They studied everything. They studied the world and everything in the world. They were not, and their belief was, the real Jewish belief is all over the world. It's been spread. Every religion on the face of the earth have taken bits and pieces of Hebrew Israelite philosophy. The Greeks took it. Socrates, everything, all of Greek philosophy is the spiritual philosophy from Egypt. The master masons, everything that they talk about is from the philosophy of the Hebrew Israelites. Reincarnation that the Buddhists talk about, that is from spiritual philosophy of the Hebrew Israelites. It should come as no surprise that black people are Hebrew Israelites. We did the first open heart surgery. We did the first brain surgery. We invented the internet, the home computer. We invented the telephone. It was not Alexander Graham Bell. It was Lewis Latimer. Lewis Latimer also invented the light bulb that we use today. It was not Thomas Edison. He worked for both of these gentlemen. And I will be, and I'm quite sure a lot of what Tesla is being credited for, Lewis Latimer had a hand in that because they both worked for Thomas Edison. I mean, even when you look at the movie, what is it, Hidden Figures. If it were not for those black women, NASA would never have understood how to operate the computers. They couldn't read the instructions and operate it. A black woman was responsible for the shields that covered the rocket on re-entry. Black people have been doing, we dominate in sports, we dominate in everything. What have Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews created that would make them God's chosen people? What have they created? Nothing. Well, they say, Thomas Edison came up with the theory of relativity. Really, it was his wife that came up with that because she was a scientist also. And see, I know she came up with it because he could not explain the formula for the life of him. He couldn't explain it. He had to get the information from her. And she was probably mad at him because she was pushed home and had to take care of the kids while he went on to be this great scientist. I guess at some particular point in time, she relinquished and told him how the formula worked. Energy equals matter times the speed of light squared. E equals mc2. But the reason why Washington is supporting Israel is because there is no real difference between Jews and Christians because they both colonized and enslaved indigenous people. Indigenous people were colonized and enslaved by Judeo-Christians. Judeo-Christians. This is how it works. The fake Jews, they attacked black people by saying that Yashua, Jesus, was not the Messiah. And then they claimed to be the original Jews so they could push Yashua into the foreground. And to make sure everything was covered, the Romans created Christianity, supposedly in Jesus' name. But Yashua was never a Christian. Then they took his sayings and they took it and they used it and they twisted it. They twisted it to say that we are Jesus. Jesus was a white man. Slavery is okay. Colonization is okay because we are spreading to them the word of Yashua. So we're doing them a favor. So you got the Christians enslaving people for profit, really, and colonization for profit in the name of Jesus. And then you got the Jews saying, well, we're the original Jews and Jesus and Yahshua is a fake. So they covered all bases. But the reality of the situation is that people were enslaved and colonized by Judeo-Christians. And guess what? The Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews owned the boat that transported slaves during the transatlantic slave ship. The Pope said that it was okay. He gave it his blessings. they work together. So what is happening on the Gaza Strip is just history repeating itself over and over again. The same thing happened in Egypt. Now all of a sudden the Egyptians are Caucasian, and we see, and there are depictions of black Egyptians all over the place. None of them on walls, temples, all over the place. But they're not going to tell the truth. And it's the same thing with African Americans. Our history has been usurped and whitewashed. And Caucasians, not all Caucasians, don't put Russia in this, but the Caucasians in America, which are from England and Rome, whitewash history. And you would think that a black woman even invented the furnace. The furnace that heats your home, a black woman invented that. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. But they're doing the same thing. They've whitewashed history. But let me go back to what's going on in Gaza Strip. The fake Jews have whitewashed history, and now they're claiming that they are the real Jews that was pushed out of Israel by the Palestinians. And so they're claiming we have a right. This was our land. It was never their land. They're from the Ukraine. That's where they're from. They're from the Ukraine. And even when Israel was having a problem because they did not have enough variety in the DNA, they shipped them, they bought the Ukrainians over to Israel. Too much inbreeding. So they brought them over, they imported them in. The United States put them there because they wanted a force in the Middle East. And Israel would be about the perfect spot because then they couldn't be surrounded and they had the ocean there as an escape route, and they can bring in, I guess, military supplies and things that way. And that's why the United States decided to put them there, to have a presence in the Middle East. And then saying that they were Jews was perfect because now they can say, you took our land from us. But that's what the whole skirmish is predicated on. The fake Jews saying that the Palestinians took their land and now they want to return to their homeland. It would be the same thing as Native Americans saying, we want the United States back. Same thing. It's just history repeating itself. It's just the whitewashing of history and a certain group of Caucasians wanting world domination. That's all it is. And the simple fact of the matter is, you prove, and it's already been proven, but the United States don't accept proof. If a guy says he's a man, if a man says he's a woman in the United States, you can walk into, in some place in the United States, you can walk into a woman's bathroom. If a man says he is a woman, he can walk into a lady's bathroom and even into a lady's locker room in a gym. And they've done it. That's the way United States and Israel has turned the world chaotic. Chaotic. Thank God Putin is trying to put things back into some kind of normalcy. But let me just, a quick synopsis. The reason why Israel is trying to take that land from the Palestinians is because they're saying that they are the original Jews and it was taken by them, and that land was taken from them by the Palestinians. That is a lie because they are not Jews. Read Revelations 2:9 and Revelations 3:9, and Yashua will tell you They are usurpers, and they worship in the synagogue of Satan. And if you look at their actions are satanic and demonic. Bombing. You think you have a right to bomb a hospital, a refugee camp, and schools in God's name? They can't possibly believe in God, Yahweh, and bomb schools and bomb women, men, women, children, the elderly. And my question is, why are the Jews, the fake Jews, Israelis protesting? Israelis protesting is like a man moving into a woman's house, molesting her. She files charges, and then he files counter charges, and he's protesting because she scratched him 4 times. He has 4 scratches, and that's what he's protesting about. How do you protest when you are the antagonist? You are the antagonist and you're protesting? You've been doing this to the Palestinians for 75 years. This is like Caucasian Americans protesting against Native Americans for trying to keep their land and calling them savages when the United States government was paying Europeans something like $5 or $10 for a scalp. The internet's telling you the truth. And until the truth is accepted and acknowledged, all these little altercations and skirmishes and racism will have to end. Racism will have to end. The situation in Israel, Gaza Strip, that would have to end too. The minute we recognize truth. But the United States don't want to do that. That's why it keeps pushing the truth further and further away. The United States keeps pushing the truth further and further away, and now saying that men are women, women are men. Chaos. They're just trying to, just total chaos and total lunacy. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later.